Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on comparing mass. This video will introduce the idea of mass. Mass refers to the amount of matter that makes up any given object. In later years, we will see that the word weight is not the same as mass, although many people incorrectly believe that the two words have the same meaning. Kindergarten students need to know that an object with a large size does not necessarily have a larger mass than a smaller object. Let's look at some examples. Here we have a cup and here we have a balloon. The balloon is larger than the cup, but the cup is heavier than the balloon, so the cup has a larger mass. So if you put the cup in your hand and then you put the balloon in your hand after that, one at a time, this is heavier. That's why it has a larger mass. If you put a paper clip in one hand and a fork in the other, the paper clip feels lighter. Hence, the paper clip has less mass than a fork. Consider the following objects. Circle the one with the smallest mass. That is, the one that is lighter. So it's lighter than the apple, it's lighter than the marble, and it's lighter than the brick. So, which one do you think it is? And I think if you guide the students gently along here, they will circle this one, and it's quite easy to explain the reasons. Write true or false for each of the following statements. A brick has a larger mass than a tissue box. So you can help the students along here. If you're lucky, you might be able to have a brick and a tissue box, get them to hold each of them, and they will write true or false here. A grape has a smaller mass than a pumpkin. I think common sense will tell you the answer there. A watermelon has a larger mass than a banana. So remember, they're writing true or false. A pencil has a smaller mass than a hammer. A bicycle has a smaller mass than a motor vehicle. So they can talk about each of these. If you don't have the concrete objects, just common sense will lead them to the answer, and we're writing true or false for each answer. Some words we might use for this topic: mass, heavy, little, large, light, gigantic, small, big, tiny. Here are some sentences. A semi-trailer is very large and very heavy, so it has a large mass. So you can talk through this sentence with the students and get them to understand what's happening. A balloon can be large, but it has a small mass. A grape is much smaller than a watermelon, giving it a much smaller mass. You can explain why that is the case. Here are some questions about mass. Here we have two boxes. Both boxes are identical in every way, so you can present this to the students. You could have cardboard boxes or whatever in the classroom, as long as the boxes are exactly the same. You can label one of them box A and box B, or box 1 and box 2, it doesn't matter. Box A is filled with feathers, and box B is filled with sand. Which box has the larger mass? So you can talk that through with the students, and I'm sure they'll work out the answer. The next one. The strand of wool is twice as long as the hammer. So there's the strand of wool. There's the hammer. Which item has the larger mass? So you might have these concrete materials, or you might be able to bring them into the classroom, but if you didn't, I'm sure the students can work out the answer. So basically this topic has introduced the students to mass, and we've done some comparisons between objects.